question is that the motion moved by Sri Phaggan Singh Ji Kuliste be adopted. Those in favor may say aye. Those against may say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now the budget railways, Sri Suresh Prabhu.
Madam Speaker, I rise to present before this August House the statement of estimated receipts and expenditure for year 2015-16 for the Indian Railways. At the outset, let me thank the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, for infusing all Indians with a renewed sense of pride and refreshed the dream of prosperous nation. At a more personal level, I wish to express my gratitude towards him for giving me this opportunity to serve the people of India through the medium of railways, which is his priority. The Prime Minister established the principle of governance when he asked what government was for, if not for the welfare of the poor. He challenged us with an inspirational objective when he said that the age of poverty alleviation was over and the era of poverty elimination has begun. Railways will play its part in this historic mission. Madam, the railway map of India is a network of veins that pump life-giving blood into the heart of India's economy. Railways is a unique integrator of modern India with a major role in its socio-economic development. It's an organization that touches the heart and existence that of all Indians, even that of Mahatma Gandhi. Bapu decided to undertake a voyage of discovery of India before launching himself into the national freedom movement. And he conducted this Bharat Darshan on trains, always traveling in third class, which doesn't exist anymore. Unfortunately, railways facilities have not improved very substantially over the past few decades. A fundamental reason for this is a chronic underinvestment in railways, which has led to congestion and overutilization. As a consequence, capacity augmentation suffers, safety is challenged, and the quality of service delivery declines, leading to poor morale, reduced efficiency, suboptimal freight and passenger traffic, and fewer financial resources. This again feeds the vicious cycle of underinvestment. This cycle must be put to an end. Once it does, the gains to the economy will be immense. Better services, improved connectivity for all citizens, including the poorer segment of a society, lower cost and improved competitiveness. Investment in railways will have a multiplier effect on the rest of the economy and will create more jobs in the economy for the poor. Investment in Indian Railways is also necessary for environmental sustainability and well-being of future generations. Madam, railways carry a heavy burden of expectations. Citizens who demand better railway services are often not aware of the constraints that the railways operate under. I wish to flag only two. There are 1,219 sections on the high-density network, which can be roughly equated with tracks connecting the metros. Out of this, 492 are running at a capacity of more than 100%, and there are another 228 that are running at a capacity between 80% and 100%. If a section is overstretched, the entire line gets overstretched. There is no slack available for maintenance and train speed slow down. On a single track, railways have to run fast express trains like Rajdhani and Shatabdi, ordinary slow passenger trains as well as goods trains. Is it surprising that though Rajdhani and Shatabdi are capable of doing 130 kilometers per hour, the average speed does not exceed 70? Is it surprising that an ordinary passenger train or a goods train cannot average more than 25 kilometers an hour? In the next 5 years, our priority will be to significantly improve capacity on the existing high-density networks. Improving capacity on the existing network is cheaper. There are no major land acquisition issues and completion time is shorter. The emphasis will be on gauge conversion, doubling, tripling and electrification. Average speed will increase, trains will become more punctual, goods trains can be timetable. पर मेरे मन में सवाल उठता है, ये प्रभु ये कैसे होगा? प्रभु ने तो कुछ जवाब नहीं दिया। तब ये प्रभु ने सोचा कि गांधी जी जिस साल भारत आए थे, उनकी शताब्दी वर्ष में भारतीय रेल को एक भेंट मिलनी चाहिए कि परिस्थिति बदल सकती है रास्ते खोजे जा सकते हैं। इतना बड़ा देश, इतना बड़ा नेटवर्क, इतने सारे रिसोर्सेज, इतनी विशाल मैन पावर, इतनी स्ट्रांग पॉलिटिकल विल, तो फिर क्यों नहीं हो सकता रेल का पुनर्जन्म? I am reminded of a novel by Shubhada Gokte titled Khandarecha Ghatasati. The novel is a fictionalized account of India's first railway line being constructed crossing the Sahyadri range. You build a section at a time. You build a tunnel at a time. You then move on to the next section and the next tunnel. You build bit by bit. We must restore the strength of Bharatiya Rail as the backbone of a country's transportation infrastructure. Bharatiya Rail must be substantially regain the market share of freight transport. Rail transport must be made reliable, comfortable and safe and benchmark to global standards. कुछ नया जोड़ना होगा, कुछ पुराना तोड़ना होगा, कुछ इंजन बदलने होंगे, कुछ पुर्जे रिपेयर करने होंगे, कुछ ताकतें दिखानी होगी, कुछ कमजोरियां मिटानी होगी, कुछ रास्ते बदलने होंगे, कुछ नई दिशाएं खोजनी होगी. I am convinced we can deliver. We cannot deliver overnight. The legacy of past decades will take some time to neutralize. I believe that good governance emerges out of participative government. In a very short span of time, I visited most of the states, tried to interact with many employees, stakeholders and customers. I took the initiative to connect directly with the users through social media. I am glad to inform that over 20,000 suggestions were received. We have already started working on feasible ones. You may also find some incorporated in this budget as well. This experiment gave me an insight into how involved people are with the railways and the will to see it getting better and reaffirming its position as a growth engine of a great nation. We have prepared a forward-looking agenda. Over the next 5 years, railway has to go through transformation. We have fixed 4 goals for ourselves. Goal number 1, to deliver a sustained and measurable improvement in customer experience. We are launching initiatives that will systematically address customer concerns about cleanliness, comfort, accessibility, service quality and speed of train. The goal number 2, make rail a safer means of travel. Third, expand Bharatiya Rail's capacity substantially and to modernize its infrastructure. Given the importance of rail travel for our citizens, we will increase our daily passengers carrying capacity from 21 million to 30 million. We will also increase track length by 20% from 1,14,000 kilometers to 1,38,000 kilometers. And we will grow our annual freight carrying capacity from 1 billion to 1.5 billion tons. Fourth objective is to finally make Bharatiya Rail financially self-sustainable. This will mean generating large surpluses from our operations, not only to service the debt needed to fund the capacity expansion, but also to invest on an ongoing basis to replace our depreciating assets. This will require material improvement in operating efficiency, tighter control over costs, greater discipline over project selection and execution, and a significant boost to railways' revenue-generating capacity. These goals will ensure that railway is an integral part of all the flagship programs that our Prime Minister has launched for improving the quality of life of the downtrodden, from Swachh Bharat to Make in India, and from Digital India to Skill India. How we will achieve this? Our execution strategy will have 5 drivers. Adopting a medium-term perspective, any organization must address short-term priorities without glossing over the long-term and medium-term vision. As Vinoba Bhaveji said, you will stumble if you look close to your heels and would certainly fall if you ignore the vision of the long road. Madam Speaker, this railway budget is a part of a trilogy of documents that chart our vision for the future. The first in the series is a white paper that has just been placed before the House. The second part is today's budget for the year 2015-16. This will be followed by a Vision 2030 document that we intend to bring out later this year. The proposals contained in this budget should therefore be seen as the beginning of a 5-year action plan to transform the railways. The second driver is building partnership. Transforming the railways will require us to partner with the key stakeholders. First, consistent with the Prime Minister's vision of cooperative federalism, we will work closely with the states to make the railways the backbone of national connectivity. Their economies and citizens will benefit dramatically from an improved railway system. The voice of the locals will reverberate through the state governments in the planning and execution of railway projects. They will also be able to raise financing through special purpose vehicles that we will create with them. Most of them have already expressed a keen interest to make the improvement of the railways a joint endeavour and a shared success. Second, we will partner with PSUs to ensure that sufficient capacity is built to transport critical commodities like coal, iron and cement from where they are extracted or imported to where they are consumed or processed. We will partner with multilateral and bilateral organizations and other governments to gain access to long-term financing and technology from overseas. We will also partner with the private sector to improve last-mile connectivity, expand our fleet of rolling stock, and modernize our station infrastructure. Here I must mention that rail will continue to be our precious national asset. It will continue to serve the common man. The people of India will own railways always. Leveraging additional resources is the driver number 3. Over the next 5 years, we envisage an investment of over rupees 8,50,000 crores, 8.5 lakh crores. A broad indicative 5-year investment plan is attached as Annex 1 to this speech. Budgetary support is the quickest and the easiest option to finance the plan. But the Ministry of Finance also faces challenges of competing demands, although small initial contribution to railways can be catalytic. But the scale of our investment needs is such that will require us to seek multiple sources of funding. We'll tap other sources of finance too. Multilateral development banks and pension funds have expressed keen interest in financing new investments. Their time horizon is aligned with ours. They seek resources, predictable and recurring revenue, which we can provide through the issuance of long-term debt instruments to fund revenue-generating railway projects. Driver number 4, revamping management practices, systems, processes, and retooling our human resources. To get the most out of the additional resources that we will be investing, we will need to ensure the highest standards of operational and business efficiency. I am happy to report an improvement on our financial performance in the year 2014-15 relative to what we had anticipated earlier. I propose the operating ratio for 2015-16 at 88.5% as against a targeted operating ratio of 91.8% in 14-15 and 93.6% in the previous year 2013-14. I am pleased to state that not only this will be the best operating ratio in the last 9 years, but the best after the 6th pay commission. The railways will not be able to deliver sustained improvement in operating efficiency unless changes are made to speed up decision making, tighten accountability, and improve management information system. Our people are our biggest asset. Even in the short term that I have held this portfolio, I have seen the enthusiasm and dedication of railway personnel across the country. For a transformation journey to succeed, it will be very important to harness the talent of our employees through training and development. Madam, driver number 5 is setting standards for governance and transparency. The railways belong to the whole nation. Its functioning must conform to the highest standards of governance and transparency. Decisions must be fair to all stakeholders, from our poorest customer to our employees and our business partners. My first decision as a minister was to delegate all my tender approving powers to the level of general managers. Transparency has many dimensions. It requires better quality of information gathering and improved norms for disclosure of that information. It requires reduction in discretion and standardization of procedures. It requires accountability. Studies have shown that greater transparency and accountability are pro-poor instruments, since the relatively poor suffer more from lack of it. Apart from delegation of powers, I am proposing to undertake measures with a view to bringing in transparency into the day-to-day activities benefiting the common man. I am aware how much they suffer at stations, at various places, so we will make sure that we work on that as well. Madam, after these 4 goals and 5 drivers, let me now turn to details of 11 major thrust areas of our action plan. The first, obviously, is a customer service, and I hope the House will bear with me. This is a little long list. How to improve quality of life in journeys? Madam, I am happy to say, and I am sure all my House will join me, I have not increased the passenger fares. We are directing our efforts to make travel on Indian Railways a happy experience with mix of several initiatives. First, obviously, is a cleanliness, which is a major area of dissatisfaction. Ensuring higher standards of cleanliness is of utmost priority for us. We want to make Swachh Rail the driving force behind this government's flagship program, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Hence, we now work on Swachh Rail, Swachh Bharat. We propose to create a new department for keeping our stations and trains clean. Integrated cleaning will be taken up as a specialized activity, which will include engaging professional agencies and also training our staff in the latest cleaning practices. Railway plan to set up waste-to-energy conversion plants near the major coaching terminals to dispose waste in an environment-friendly manner. One pilot plant will be set up to begin with, followed by many more in the near future. The condition of toilet facilities is our stations and trains need major improvement. We'll build new toilets covering 650 additional stations compared to 120 stations last year. Bio toilets are being fitted in coaches. So far, we have replaced the existing toilets with 17,388 bio toilets. This year alone, we intend to replace another 17,000 toilets. Research and Design and Standard Organization has also been tasked with making available within a period of 6 months a design of vacuum toilets. Even the quality of Indian Railways onboard housekeeping service, presently available in 500 pairs of 10, is being relooked to make it more effective. We'll take simple steps immediately to address customer concern. I take this opportunity to appeal to all my fellow citizens that Railways is your travelling home. Please keep it clean. Bed linen. We will launch a program to improve design, quality and cleanliness of bed linen within the next 6 months. We approach NIFT for designing bed linen. Additionally, the facility of online booking of disposable bedrolls at select stations is being extended to all passengers through IRCTC portal on payment basis. We'll increase the number of mechanized laundries. Helpline. I hope people don't have to use it, but they still need it, is a helpline. Every responsive organization should have a system to address grievances from its valued customers. In all, an All India 24/7 helpline number 138 will become operational to attend to the problems of passengers on a real-time basis. Passengers will be able to call up for complaints even while on trains. A mobile application to redress railway-related complaints is also being developed. We intend to start this facility in Northern Railways from 1st of March 2015, 3 days from now. Based on the experience gained and the feedback received from passengers, this will be extended to all our railways soon thereafter. Further, keeping in mind the criticality of security-related issues, we have dedicated toll-free number 182 for receiving security-related complaints. Railways would utilize resources from Nirbhaya Fund for augmenting security for a woman passenger, for which I thank the Honorable Finance Minister for being so generous in doing many things besides this. Ticketing. One of the biggest problems faced by the common man intending to travel in unreserved class is purchasing a ticket. We are introducing Operation 5 Minutes to ensure that a passenger traveling unreserved can purchase a ticket within 5 minutes. Provision of modified hot buttons coins, vending machines and single destination teller windows will drastically reduce the transaction time. For the differently able travelers, a special initiative is being launched whereby they can purchase concessional e-tickets after only one-time registration. It is also proposed to work toward developing a multilingual e-ticketing portal. We will move towards crediting all refunds to the banking system. In Central, Western and Southern Railway suburban stations, we have already started a pilot project of issuing unreserved tickets on smartphones. We hope to extend this facility progressively to all stations. Automatic ticket vending machines with smart cards and currency options have also been installed in many stations. It is proposed to proliferate this further and also to introduce debit card operated machines. Introduction of integrated ticketing system on the lines of rail cum road tickets to Jammu and Srinagar route will be expanded to many other routes. For the benefit of our brave soldiers, a defense general will be happy. A defense travel system has been developed for elimination of warrants to make travel easier. This facility has been commissioned in 600 locations out of 2,000 locations. The facility is being expanded further. Catering. To provide freedom to our valued passengers to select their meals from an array of choices including local cuisine, e-catering has been introduced in 108 trains on an experimental basis only last month. Food can be ordered through the IRCTC website at the time of booking tickets. We are working to integrate the best food chains in our country in this project. Depending on the response from our customers, the facility will be extended to cover more trains. It is also intended to set up base kitchens in specified division to be run by highly credible agencies for serving quality food. At the moment, water vending machines are sparse, so people are forced to buy bottled water. We will expand this to cover in most railway stations. This will ensure availability of clean drinking water at very low cost to the people apart from being environment-friendly measure. Leveraging technology for customers, and it's a major issue, handheld terminals will now be provided to travelling ticket examiners which can be used for verification of passengers and downloading charts. This system will help us to move towards paperless ticketing and charting and expedite finalization of refund claims apart from saving reams of paper. I know paper industry will not be happy. We are also exploring the idea of extending the facility of SMS on mobile as a valid proof to travel for PRS ticket as well. We are putting in place an integral customer portal which will be a single interface for the customers to access different services. Seamless navigation would be possible across different websites of railways. A centrally managed railway display network is expected to be introduced in over 2,000 stations over the next 2 years, which will aid in providing information on train arrival departure, reservations, general and emergency messages, and also any other information of interest to citizens. This facility will promote our government's program, Digital India campaign, and also unlock huge advertising potential. We propose to introduce an SMS alert service to inform passengers in advance about the updated arrival and departure time of trains at starting and destination stations. Similarly, SMS alert would be sent 15-30 minutes in advance of arrival of the train at the destination. For the safety of our women passengers, surveillance cameras will be provided on a pilot basis in selected mainline coaches and ladies' compartment of suburban coaches without compromising the privacy. I am happy to announce that our Delhi division is taking up a project for introducing onboard entertainment on select Shatabdi trains on a license fee basis. Depending on the response, this facility will be extended to all Shatabdi trains. Small thing, but complaints were issued. Mobile phone charging facilities would be provided in general class coaches and the number of charging facilities would be increased in super class coaches.